Andres is with us and in Jacksonville, Florida. Hey, Andres, what's up?
Hello, Dave. Much love and respect for all that you do.
You too, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. So 2019 started a solar company here in Jacksonville. And last year we did about $12 million in gross revenue. And really my adult career, if you will, started off in the ministry, pastoring, missionary work overseas. And we're at a point where I'm starting to contemplate both practically and in my heart, leaving the business, transitioning, and going back more into a ministry role and just kind of wrestling through both the decision and then what that process would look like.
Okay. How can I help?
Yeah, so I wanted to see if you could kind of talk me through the decision process of selling off the business, going back to a ministry role vocationally. And then if I did that, what could or what should that process look like? And maybe part of the question is this: the longer I've been in business, the more I've met men who are really doing a great work and serving the Lord through the business platform.
Mm-hmm.
So that intrigues me on whether I should stay if I'm in a good spot and if the wave of the future missionary impact is through the business platform. So just wanted your help on kind of processing that decision.
Okay. I appreciate that setup. Certainly being a missionary, working in full-time pastoral roles inside a church is a godly thing and a place where you can serve people and help people and introduce them to Jesus and help them through the healing process from the things that have happened to them in their life. And it's very rewarding. I would never tell someone to not do that unless the reason that they were doing it was they thought that's the only place that the Lord gets served and that the call to God's kingdom can be fulfilled. Because I am convinced that the business owner who is a person of faith, who's functioning with great integrity and great compassion and great excellence, probably has a greater reach than the typical church does for evangelism and for ministry. Because you've got resources. And so if someone on your team gets cancer, you can walk with them through that process. Someone on your team's going through a nasty divorce, you can give them the mercy to not be a good team member right then, because nobody's a good team member when they're going through a nasty divorce. It shuts down your brain and because you can't think about anything else. And so there's a period of time that you're worthless, and you can extend mercy and grace while that person gets through that and comes out the other side, and that witnesses to their soul and can lead them to a decision to follow Christ. It can lead them to a deeper relationship. It can lead them to a further maturing of their faith, depending on where they started the process. So that's there. And honestly, you're going to have people come through your doors as customers and come through your doors as team members, potentially, that may never darken the door of a church. So it's a very fertile field if you want to view it that way. I'm convinced that's the way we view it at Ramsey. Everybody that works here, everybody that works in leadership views our this whole thing through that lens. And we don't thump the Bible on people, but it's hard to interact with us very much before you find out we're people of faith.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and that's been the struggle is the 4 years I've been in business, I'm starting to see that both in our business and other people's businesses, and that intrigues me to stay to continue. But, at the same time, I'm wrestling in my heart on transitioning out. And then, of course, if I did, making sure that I did it correctly and accordingly, and it was a smooth transition for the business.
Yeah, I think you've got to decide why you're transitioning out, and are you adequately viewing your business as a ministry? Because if the only way you think you can do ministry is to transition out, that's wrong. You can do ministry there. Mm-hmm. Okay. It's a different style. It's a different setting. And if you're wrestling with the setting or the style, that's a fair wrestle. But can you move the kingdom of God forward through running a business well? Yeah, you dead blame right you can. I've done it for 30 years. It's very, very possible. So, and can you gather up some other men and women of like mind that have other businesses in the area, and you all lock arms together and support each other through the trials of having done that? Because as you know, doing that is not necessarily a popularity contest. There's some people out there that aren't going to like you. Get ready. And they'll start entire websites on that fact. I know a guy. And so, but that's okay. That's okay. It's just part of it. So it's not the critic that counts. It's the man in the arena. And so this is anyway. You can create an environment of faith-filled business owners, Christian business owners, if you will, Jewish business owners, whatever your faith walk is, and serve God through that venue, maybe more effectively than you could in some church settings. I know more effectively than some church settings, but not all. Okay, so just be careful how you define the itch that God's giving you. What is it He's calling you to, and who is He calling you to, and then what's the best way to get to those people? Some people have a pastoral heart where they want to work with the hurting and the downtrodden. Others have an evangelistic heart where they want to reach the person who doesn't know anything about faith and lead them to their first steps in faith. And so those can be very different processes, should be very different processes. Usually are different personalities that lean into that. And so just decide for yourself which of those you are. Pray about that and say, okay, God, what are you calling me to? And if there's any business practices inside your business that are making you feel dirty, clean them up so that it feels holy again. And because you can run a solar business with plenty of holiness. It's very possible. Telling the truth and stuff, it's possible in every business. And so you got to set yourself up in the community of being a truth teller, of being a lover of people, a lover of the customer, a lover of our team members. And it's well known. It's also well known that you're a warrior and you'll fight anybody that wants to take any of that on. And those things are not inconsistent. So it's not inconsistent with running or owning or operating a business. It's just a matter of which of these vocational processes you feel like God's calling you to. If you're going to transition out, you've got to either sell it or find somebody to run it, and you need to develop a strategy to do that. But if you're going to stay in and you say, I'm going to make it this much more about my God walk inside this, then you may start to get bold in areas you weren't bold in. And you're going to piss some people off that you haven't pissed off yet. And you're going to draw some people in that you haven't drawn in yet. Both of those things are going to happen. And it's going to be an exciting adventure for you. We need more men like you out there. Thank you.